All right, we're going to take a look at Jaxon Smith-Njigba. This is his second year, and he had a monster game against the LA Rams. Now, the LA Rams are also the seventh most generous unit to wide receivers in the league this year, if you're judging it by yardage, receptions, and touchdowns. The Rams are the seventh most generous unit in the league. And Jaxon Smith-Njigba, if we're going to use those types of data points as a way of rating how he's doing, say in fantasy football terms, Jaxon Smith-Njigba was wide receiver 24 prior to this game. He was wide receiver 13 after this game. Huge jump. A lot of that has to do with what we're going to see today in terms of him matching up as one of the top two reception getters because DK Metcalf was out this week against a weakened Rams defense. And you're going to see right away there's going to be a recurring theme, which is zone coverage. The Rams do not play zone coverage well. They are not great tacklers in the secondary. And you can see here Njigba breaks 3 tackles on his way to a 22-yard gain. There's a little smoke screen, works inside, picks up a couple of blocks, really just one block, misses a tackle here, missed a tackle here, missed a tackle here. I mean, we're talking 15 yards at least. Let's see, 5 yards, 10 yards, yep, about 15 yards after, worth of yardage based on tackling that was missed. Now, Njigba had a good game. He executed very well for the most part, but there were moments where he didn't. Here's one early on. You're going to see him work into this open zone. Safety slips. Geno does not throw this ball exactly where it needs to be. It's a little bit behind, but look how Njigba tries to attack this ball. This is just a really poor attack. You want to see him attack this ball with overhand position, hands in front of him. He's trying to catch it like this ball's thrown behind him, like he's catching a post route. Look at that. He was not prepared at all for how to attack this ball. So this is something that he's got to, it may have just been a one and done type of situation, but I've noticed that some Ohio State receivers, as good as highly touted as they can be, have some issues with how to address a football when they get crossed up. And I don't think he just expected the ball to rise on him as it did. And he ended up just getting confused here, and it wound up intercepted because he didn't have the right attack. Definitely an error on Njigba's part. And while this is zone coverage, this is cover 3, oftentimes cover 3 looks end up with a man-to-man situation, and this is more of a man-to-man type of situation based on the route and the defender, and Njigba just doesn't separate very well here. I found that he did much better against zone types of coverage than he did where he had a man playing tight to him as the ball is arriving. And that's kind of natural in one sense, but your best receivers win man-to-man. And this is one of those routes where you look at the defender had position all the way, and Njigba tries to stem him and then work outside, but it's not a nifty enough route. What you'd like to see is he can get the defender. See, he thought he had the defender's hips turned inside, so he decided that he would stem him downhill a little bit more and then turn. But I think the problem with that is with the defender's hips inside right here, he should have turned this route a little bit earlier. He tried to take care to get past the sticks. The defender just continued to back up, so forcing Njigba to basically run into him because he just held his ground in that position. So Njigba probably needed to make a different type of stem here to draw the defender in a little bit more and then work his way outside. And he didn't really do that. The defender was ready for it and cuts off the route. This 46-yard play, this is just basically a busted coverage by the safety. The safety anticipates Njigba break into the post, and Njigba runs it to the deep corner. Njigba doesn't really do much here. with his stem. I mean, he stems inside here, and the defender's playing straight up over the top, hips facing him the whole way. And Njigba doesn't do anything here, no head fakes, nothing to indicate that he's breaking to the post. And there's a defender over the top, the safety, who's going to be able to guard that post, and this defender should know that. But like the Rams have done over and over again this year, they've given up they've had coverage breaks in zone a lot. This defender turns it inside and runs to the inside like it's going to be the post. And Njigba did nothing to sell that. This is just a brain fart by the safety, if you ask me. Again, we're going to see, this is cover 4, this is quarters. Quarters, in a sense, turns to man with certain types of looks. So there's a lot more like man-to-man like coverage here with Njigba in number 30. So Smith-Njigba runs the corner route here, or the sideline type of route. It's more of like a deep sail. And what he does, he stems inside, begins his break outside, and he has slight separation, but not really enough here. And the ball's underthrown because Geno Smith understands the defender being at under his hip here. So Geno's trying to throw this ball in a way where Smith-Njigba can go up and get it. But Njigba's attack is not good. This is just like the interception where he just doesn't use the correct attack. Look how he's going underhand. See how he's using underhand position to try and attack a ball with the defender on your hip? How's he going to catch that with the defender's arms in front of him unless the ball just goes through the guy's arms? That's not a high odds proposition. You want to attack this ball overhand. You want to jump up and through to the ball. You want to high point this. You want to jump straight up, turn back, jump straight up, get your hands over your head, catch it overhand with your hands tight, and maybe you're going to be extended over the defender, and you want to be the first one to make the leap. None of this happens. The defender's completely in its way. There's no way. Even though he comes down with the ball, he has no control over it because, again, and he also leaped where he didn't even have, he has to fight through for the ball. It's just one of those things that, yes, the ball gets into his hands and he gets 1 foot in, but he doesn't have the opportunity to really control the ball or turn away. And he would have been in better position if he jumps earlier. He begins the jump about right now instead of 4 steps later. And he could have, if he begins the jump earlier, say even right here, and his hands are up, it's like a step earlier. If his hands are up right now and he goes for the ball, he catches it earlier, he has more room between himself and the boundary to make the play so he can stay in bounds and he can turn away earlier. Instead, he's dependent on leaving his feet too close to the end line, too close to the defender, and he has to battle it from the defender. And he has no control with that. So that's why a jump back would have made more sense. Here's another zone look. This is cover 4 as well, quarters. But you can see that what ends up happening is that Njigba here, he stems it, breaks to the post, and the safety takes the receiver up the seam and follows that too long and gets crossed up and blows the coverage when it's time to trade off. So again, another big play against a busted zone. This is cover 3, which kind of converts to man here. You're going to see the safety take on Njigba. Close very tight. He's got the position. Shouldn't even be thrown. Smith under pressure throws a desperation ball. The corner peels off that and undercuts the ball. Probably wouldn't have been caught by Njigba anyway based on the position of the defender. Let's take a look at it right here. Yeah, the defender's underneath that. Probably has a shot to close on that ball and cut it off. Just not a good play. Again, this is another zone look. We're looking against cover 3. He's facing a defender playing outside shade. He's got a high safety here. He breaks it in and under, makes the catch. Nothing special about that. This is where Njigba shines on one-on-one coverage, but this is a 2-man route combination. So it's cover 1, man-to-man. He's in the slot. He's going to get that little, 2-man scissors approach here with the outside man working it downhill, and he works behind that, and he has a whole area of room, a two-way go essentially against his defender to fake inside, go outside, get the early separation, ball's in the air, nice one-handed catch. It's a nice play. Takes the hit too. But of all the man-to-man routes, this is not an extremely demanding route. Okay, this is early acceleration, which he's always had, and then using it to advantage with a two-way go, meaning that he could go this way or he could go to the boundary in the slot. It puts the inherent advantage on the receiver to get separation, which is what he does, and he makes a nice play. Seahawks are using him well in this regard. This is a nice play, and it's a clutch play by Smith-Njigba. It's cover 3, and he's got a nice job stemming that to the inside here and giving a little stick to the inside, getting the defender to turn his hips inside. Does a great job getting outside here on the corner route. The cornerback in that cover 3 outside peels off his receiver, comes in to deliver the hit as Njigba makes the catch. But from basically the route, he's wide open here. With the single high safety, he's wide open in this area. Makes the catch. Just has to take the hit, and he manages to do that. It's a tough play. Does a good job with it. Route-wise, though, the defender gets beat pretty easily, and a lot of that's on Njigba. He's a good early separator, and there's a lot of Cooper Kupp-like skill in Njigba's game because of his ability to separate early, get early position with his acceleration and his quickness. And then when it comes to deep speed, it's okay. It's not great. But using him in the slot works just fine. And that's what really he is. He's a very good slot receiver who can give you some deep plays. This is a nice job of taking the back of the defender who's already turned and running in this cover 4 look. So he's attacking the outside where the defender's got his hips turned and running downfield. He takes the back of the defender and then breaks it back inside. So he's really pushing the safety and this defensive back outside and downfield before breaking back to the inside and back to the quarterback. He gets 20 yards after the catch, 31-yard gain overall. Sets things up for them here late in the game in overtime. Good play. So yeah, what you see from Jaxon Smith-Njigba, very good zone route runner, a guy who, if you give him two-way goes inside, he can be an effective man-to-man play threat, big play threat from man-to-man inside in the slot. He's not a X receiver, an outside receiver. You want him in that Cooper Kupp type of role, maybe a Jaden Reed type of role we're seeing in Green Bay, where you work inside out to get wins down the field, put him in part of two-man route combinations, and he can do very good work for you. But when DK Metcalf returns, I don't think you're going to see Jaxon Smith-Njigba continue this rate of production that you saw from him. And I don't think you're going to even see it while DK Metcalf is out, when he's facing teams that have a better zone defense and pass coverage than the Rams, who gave up a ton also to Juwan Jennings and to a variety of other players. They've had a lot of busted coverages this year. They have not played well in their back end. And you saw a number of reasons for that today, even with the good plays that Njigba had. So if you're looking for Njigba to be the breakout star down the stretch and become like an elite fantasy producer, I think you're barking up the wrong tree this year. He's a very good player. Always liked him out of Ohio State. But he's not a man-to-man timing route winner in role in this offense. And he's a little bit more dependent on facing zone coverage and being that guy that gets those two-way goes right now. That may change in his career, but I think that this is the strength of his game, and I think Seattle intends to continue to use him that way. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP NFL videos, breakdowns, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, at my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.